So, what have I really learnt from my audience about about our ancillary products? Basically, we've learnt that people like them, which is always a fantastic thing. Obviously, they thought they looked very, very professional. They thought that they adhered to sort of general conventions, especially the poster, keeping it very simple, having the important information. They liked the star ratings, and they like the fact that it's just the image of our front cover on the poster. It's very very easy identifiable when people are looking for it if they want to buy it, and makes a very very easy link between the two as well. um, Obviously there has been a couple of sort of improvements been suggested. The idea of adding the track numbers, the idea of maybe not using a solid black background for the lyric page, but possibly maybe a grey or a blue that would possibly link a bit better with our photos. Um, I guess also we've sort of have, we found that people like them, which is always brilliant. They found them easy to look at. They like the interestingness of the photos. They like the negative space. They like the fact that this simplicity, sort of bleak atmosphere actually works, because normally that could look, get a bit boring, look a bit sort of bland, but apparently for our sort of stuff that works. And I think ideally we mainly what we've learned is what we did was right. I mean, unlike our main product, we don't have so many things where people gone, yeah, this could have been slightly better, yeah, this could have been a little bit better. But I think the ancillaries were a lot easier to make, so I think they were a lot harder to get wrong. I think by staying very very conventional within our piece, we've learnt that that's the best way to go. I mean, it seems to please the masses easier if you don't try and do anything crazy, because it doesn't alienate them. It doesn't make them feel a bit scared. Obviously, Jack raised the point that by having the sort of blander style and you know imagery and that, it may not appeal to everyone, especially people that listen to sort of pop music and stuff like that and are used to quite like bright colours and geometric patterns and very outlandish style, whereas ours is very simple, very plain, very sort of, it is basically very very indie styled. And that, so he said, maybe it does sort of alienate some people, or would just not catch some people's eyes if they're used to these bright colours. But overall, I think what we've learned is that we appeal to our target audience. We can actually create something that looks believable, that looks professional, and quite frankly, I think it just shows that we actually, the time and the effort we put into it, choosing the fonts, you know, thinking about what images go with what songs, and then obviously taking the time to go out and take all of those images, editing them all together. It really did pay off. People did find it interesting. They didn't just flick through it and go, hey, there's another digipack. People did find it interesting that we'd done something a bit different, which is always nice to hear. So overall, I think we've learnt from our audience that what we did was right. We were good not to go, too far outlandish and too different. Which is always nice, because obviously that's something you always worry about if you're not being interesting enough. So overall, I think we learnt that what we did was good, and obviously there's a few little things we could have done to improve it. So if we ever do embark on something like this again, we know the sort of things that we need to just double check on. Um, but yeah, I think we did well overall.